Max Verstappen's position at Red Bull is becoming increasingly uncertain, and Aston Martin appears poised to seize the opportunity. Although the team from Silverstone has faced challenges in the final season of the ground effect regulations, their sights are firmly set on a competitive resurgence in 2026. Rumors suggest that offers have already been extended to the four-time world champion. And given the recent disappointing performance in Bahrain, it's becoming harder to imagine Verstappen turning down such a tempting proposition, especially from a team that seems to be building towards something big. But would Aston Martin go so far as to reshuffle their current driver lineup, possibly even replacing Lance Stroll, Lawrence Stroll's own son, to make room for Verstappen? It's a bold move, but perhaps not off the table. Meanwhile, Red Bull faced an intense and dramatic weekend. Tensions boiled over when Verstappen's manager, Raymond Vermeulen, reportedly confronted Helmut Marko after the race. According to Sky Sports' Ted Kravitz, Vermeulen stormed into the Red Bull garage, visibly angry about the car's performance, giving Marko a stern piece of his mind before storming out. While an emergency team meeting was held to address concerns, there's no guarantee that Verstappen will be handed a car capable of competing at the front. On the contrary, there are growing fears that the issues with the RB21 run deeper than initially thought, possibly fundamental flaws that can't be fixed with simple updates. With development pace lagging, optimism for Red Bull to catch up is starting to fade. After the Bahrain GP, Verstappen's camp, including Vermeulen, was visibly frustrated. Ted Kravitz emphasized just how direct Vermeulen was with Marko, underscoring the seriousness of the situation. Marko has since acknowledged the risk of Verstappen walking away, saying improvements must come soon if they hope to give Max a title-winning machine. "We have to provide a car capable of fighting for the championship again," he said. "If it's not the fastest and the pit stops also fail, it becomes unacceptable." Even Verstappen himself seems increasingly disillusioned. He's already downplaying any talk of fighting McLaren or anyone else for the title, describing himself simply as a participant in this year's championship, a statement that speaks volumes. Despite this being the first race weekend since Las Vegas 2024, where both Red Bull cars finished in the points, Verstappen maintained a calm but distant tone. "I always try to give my best no matter how frustrating things get," he said. "Even if we win, the problems don't magically disappear. I've said it before. I stay neutral, whether things are good or bad. We just have to keep working." This kind of mental and emotional distance is exactly what makes Aston Martin's interest in him so significant. Internally, the team reportedly considers Verstappen their top target. Their recruitment of high-profile technical talent like Adrian Newey, along with the upcoming Honda engine partnership from 2026, seems to be part of a broader strategy to lure Verstappen into the fold. Hold on. Did you know that 99% of you watching right now aren't subscribed? If you enjoy my content and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button. It takes just a second, but it means the world to me and helps keep this channel going. Join the family and let's grow together. Now back to the story. Max Verstappen is now starting to realize just how pivotal Adrian Newey has been to Red Bull's dominance in recent years. While other key figures like Rob Marshall also played crucial roles in shaping the team's success, most in the paddock agree that Newey was the mastermind behind it all. Adding a new twist to the story, Honda has weighed in on their future with Aston Martin, particularly regarding potential input on the team's driver lineup. Koji Watanabe, Honda's president, recently shared that their role with Aston Martin will mirror the involvement they had with Red Bull in the past. Watanabe made it clear that Honda still holds a deep admiration for Verstappen. "After this season, our focus shifts entirely to our partnership with Aston Martin," he said. "Honestly, I hope there's another opportunity for Honda to work with Max Verstappen. I've spoken with him many times, and he's always appreciated our mindset and work ethic." According to Watanabe, Verstappen's ability to communicate effectively with Honda engineers has earned him immense respect within the company. Many on their team have become personal fans of Max, which explains the level of dedication they continue to show toward him. While Honda won't be the sole decision-maker when it comes to driver selections, they've confirmed that they'll have a voice in the process, just as they did during their time with Red Bull. "The final call rests with the team," Watanabe said, "but our input will be taken seriously, like before." Even Verstappen hasn't dismissed the possibility of reuniting with Honda in the future. Speaking candidly, he pointed to his age as a major reason for keeping options open. "I'm still relatively young," he said, It's hard to predict the future. I never expected to achieve what I already have. 4 titles with Red Bull. But if a project doesn't look promising, I don't know if I could fully commit to it. This brings up a critical question. If Verstappen were to join Aston Martin, who would he replace? On the surface, Fernando Alonso seems like the obvious candidate, considering his age and prior remarks suggesting that 2026 might be the final year of his career. However, Lance Stroll's recent performances raise doubts about his long-term place in the team too. His form has been underwhelming, and if it continues to decline, Aston Martin may face a tough decision on which driver to let go. At the moment, Lance Stroll is the sole contributor to Aston Martin's points tally in the 2025 season. But while that may sound impressive on paper, it's hard to overlook his underwhelming performances in recent years. Many would argue that Stroll still has a lot to prove if he wants to justify his place in Formula One, especially with talk of a major name like Max Verstappen entering the picture. For years, the actions of Lawrence Stroll have made it clear that Aston Martin's long-term vision was built around his son. But if a generational talent like Verstappen becomes available, it's difficult to imagine Lance being able to meet the level of expectation that would come with sharing a garage with him, regardless of the car's competitiveness. Max has the ability to extract every last ounce of performance from a machine. Lance, on the other hand, benefits from a safety net that most drivers don't have. That kind of imbalance within a team isn't sustainable, especially when the pressure starts mounting from outside, particularly from key partners like Honda and Adrian Newey. And speaking of Newey, it's important to remember that the legendary designer is not just a passive member of this project. As a technical partner, his influence will likely extend far beyond the car's aerodynamics. If he's involved, you can bet he'll have a voice when it comes to driver lineups too. This is all part of a much larger strategy. Win over Verstappen. Show him there's a serious project here, just like Lawrence Stroll did when he convinced Newey to come on board. That's why former F1 driver Juan Pablo Montoya believes that Verstappen will be made an offer so good, it'll be nearly impossible to decline. I think Max will get an offer from Aston Martin that he just can't refuse, Montoya said. He might give Red Bull one more year. Maybe let Adrian Newey start settling in. But building something from the ground up takes time. It's a new group, and they'll need to sync before they start dominating. They'll definitely be better next year, but winning races consistently, that might take longer. Montoya isn't the only one sounding the alarm. There's increasing concern that Verstappen could leave Red Bull, and no one's pretending that Mercedes is completely out of the picture either. Team boss Toto Wolff has expressed his intent to continue with George Russell and rising star Kimi Antonelli. But let's be honest, when a driver like Max becomes available, priorities can shift fast. Sky F1's Martin Brundle summed it up perfectly. If Max Verstappen suddenly hits the market, I'd be quite worried for George. Kimi is clearly their future, but Toto already missed out on Max once. I don't think he'd make the same mistake twice. So here's the real question. Is Verstappen truly considering leaving Red Bull for Aston Martin? And if he does, who would he replace? Alonso or Stroll? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to click the video on your screen for more in-depth F1 content. And don't forget to subscribe my channel.